Excited about this team?
Well, every year has a new excitement of what you're going to see. I mean, there's a lot of question marks of how this team's going to fit together, but I would say just the senior, we have such a good group of senior leaders, and then we have just a nice mix of older guys and new guys, and so I guess the excitement is how all the parts are going to fit together, and maybe what they can accomplish when they do all fit together.
When you added Alvaro, it doesn't seem like he's afraid to offer advice or hold people accountable, I guess. For a guy that you bring in to such an established culture, how confident were you in his ability to be able to do that?
I was confident, but I think I was blown away a little bit by how quickly he was able to do that. He's a natural leader and a natural quarterback point guard, and that's what you want. And these guys had respect for him the second he walked in this gym, and because he was gone a little bit at the start of the summer because he was with the national team. And so when he got here, they'd already been together for a little bit, so there was even that. But just right away, the guys understood who he was as a player and a competitor, and they just understood that he has a knack for leadership, and so he complements their ability to lead too.
For a new guy, I mean, like, he's even telling us that he went up to Tyson at one point in the summer and was like, "No, this is your team. Like, you need to be more aggressive." For a guy like Tyson to even kind of listen to him, I guess.
No doubt.
Would say something.
But different guys have different styles of leadership, and his is pretty vocal, and that's needed because Omar's and Tyson's they have a different touch to them, and so it's great to have that vocal leader who. You always hear coaches say, well, he's a coach on the floor. Absolutely. He's going to be a great coach. His dad was a coach. He's been around the game his whole life. I think some of the things that Max brought to the team last year, he's instantly replaced. That competitiveness, that feel for the game. He's more vocal than Max, so that's a value. And but he is just such a great leader in his own way, and such a great fit for the guys we have.
He said he's never done an interview the day before the game like this. He's never had a scrum of this many reporters, never had a home crowd as big as he's going to see tomorrow night. Just these facilities, this culture, you mentioned the expectations numerous times. How do you feel like, energized isn't the right word, but just his last year as a part of your program, how much better is his game going to be elevated?
Well, and also just because of the players he's getting to play with. And he deserves to be, have an environment like this and play in games that have this much meaning, night in, night out, and all those kind of things. And that's what every player wants. And so, he's earned that right, and with his hard work and dedication to the game. And it's just, I think it's great when you feel like a guy found the right fit, and where it fits both for the program and for him, and that's what we feel with Al.
How do you think the team is going to be most different when you watch with him at the point versus last year?
That remains to be seen. I think you guys will have to come up with that, but it is a lot different than last year, a lot different team. So, but there's always, you watch all these games yesterday, and you're like, man, there's some teams that play good, and there's some teams that just play awful, and you're like, well, it's November 4th. They're going to work through some stuff, and everybody's got to work through something. And I think there's only one team that maybe played like jaw-dropping basketball on the first day, and out of a lot of teams that played. So, everything's a work in progress this time of year, and the ones that can keep improving are the ones that will be there in the end.
Leon, the college basketball community knows how good Oakland is and can't be in this. I mean, this is a tough team bringing in here. Talk about the challenge tomorrow in the opener. 2 years ago, you kind of said the same thing about South Dakota State. And a lot of us were like,
right.
And then all of a sudden you got clipped that first game. I mean,
Thanks.
It's a good team tomorrow.
Appreciate that. No, can't be. I mean, you don't win 700 games and stay in the business as long as he did. I mean, they were a possession away from going to the Sweet 16. I mean, they beat a talented team in the first round, and he's a great coach. And to get 700 wins yesterday, and that's why we're playing today. I was like, can you get that out of the way so we don't have to deal with that? but it's quite an accomplishment. And, it's always an honor to get to play against really good coaches and really good programs, and that's why we brought it in on opening night.
Back to Al, he was telling us, his style of play and your style of play, you guys needed to both adjust a little bit to get that to mesh. How'd that process go for you?
I don't think there was much adjustment. There's probably more him having to adjust to our system a little bit. I didn't, I think I have no problem adjusting to really good players. That's easy for me.
Leon, we were just chatting to Tyson. He was saying with August seeing you as
Is that an Australian accent?
English.
Oh, English. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
Yeah.
foreign territory.
Tacoma.
Tacoma.
The hilltop. I recognized it. Yeah.
But yeah, just with August seeing you on the team, and Tyson says he's looking for that fairy tale ending. Do you kind of feel the same way with getting a lot of these guys who've been here for years and giving them something special to kind of go out on?
No, I mean, we don't think that way as far as the future and hey, we're just here today. We get to enjoy today with each other, and those veterans get to spread it among the young guys to make sure they're enjoying it, and that's what I want these guys to build, because these can be lifelong memories. But you can't do it if you're thinking, oh, we want this to end this way. No, it's just today, and we got a big challenge tomorrow that we're going to embrace and enjoy and play, like our teams do, with that joy and that passion that we want to play with.
What can you see? You've worked long, hard years to build this fan base and to get a consistent crowd and to be sold out of season tickets and to have the interest that you were at. What can you say about you're maybe going to have a sellout tomorrow night, which is pretty unheard of around here for an opener.
In during football season, no doubt. Well, when I took this job, I just remember I wandered out, and I think I was in Parma somewhere by Marcy Few's old house. I think we talked about that, and I found myself in the middle of this potato field, and I heard this whisper, "If you build it, they will come." Right? And look what. So I mowed down all those potatoes, and now we got to sell out for opening night, and those are, we always like these milestones and these great things, but that's what we envision. That's what what was one of the first things I said. You can't have a good program if you don't have a good home court advantage, and you can't have a good home court advantage if you don't have people there. And that's just grown in the process, and all the people involved to help us do that. Everybody pulling the rope. Game day experience, all those things matter, and our administration has worked so hard at improving all this stuff. And you've seen it on the blue, and you've seen it now here, and it's a lot of fun to come to these games. And a big part of that is what they've built. Not only, you got to have a good product and good teams and good guys that people like to watch, which we have now, and but you also have to have a lot of people pulling the rope.
I know you've built it yourself. You've done it yourself. They're here on Wednesday because of this team. But I mean, just building off the momentum from football, and you got the rankings coming out tonight. And it seems like for fans, this is a fun, the next couple months here with both sports going, and the expectations for both is just an exciting time around.
Yeah,
here.
that's what you want. I mean, we all at this university work for that, and you've got it going on everywhere. I mean, the soccer team's winning the league. It's just excitement and great student athletes, great atmospheres, and it's a lot of fun to be a Bronco right now.
Kind of along these same lines, Leon, I feel like there's always this thing around basketball season. It was like, wait till football season's over, right?
Yeah.
What does it mean for your program now to have the support and the energy from day one of the season?
It's huge, and our guys are juiced to play because it's such a long off season. That you don't want them to come out and it's empty. And you remember my first game here. You came out and looked around and like, wow. And now to have it like this is the way you want it. And we got to manage the emotion and that all that stuff that you got to manage. But we love to have the opportunity to do that.
I know that the dream has always been to have that sellout be the norm. Just what's it like to actually now have that become the norm for you?
Well, it's on BJ's show, Coach Few's. Well, you don't have to walk across a river or parachute out of a plane or all the things that you got to do to sell tickets. People are coming, and so that's kind of nice. And we're appreciative, and we love it. And you know, and now we got to. But I always tell our guys, whether it's in front of 1 or 12,000, our job's the same. So that needs to be the focus. We're appreciative of it. We love it. It does energize us, helps us, and so we're, you know, it's so valuable. But our job is always the same.
These fans tomorrow night, I mean, they haven't seen a couple of these newcomers.
Yeah.
They haven't seen improvements from some of these guys. What is there a player or two, or just anything that you've been seeing that you're excited for fans to see tomorrow night?
I think it's like, you know, Christmas Eve. Let's let them unwrap the presents. I'm not going to spoil it. You know, let them come and see it. And that's what's exciting about. You get to come and see it against a good team. And so we're going to play a good ball game tonight or tomorrow.
What does Oakland do? I mean, what
Well,
do they do best?
they have a system where they really allow their guys to shoot, you know, and it doesn't matter. They have a great ability to forget the last shot, and a team like that can really go on big runs because they can just make a whole bunch of threes in a row. They can score a whole bunch, and then they play a zone that's really, really unique and hard to play against for 40 minutes. And you know, so it's a system that's a lot different than a lot that you play against very often or that you are comfortable against.
You know, about Tyson, number 2 on your roster. For him as a freshman, he was playing, you know, out of position at times, and then as a sophomore, you had him playing the 5. And the way you built this team, it feels like he's going to be able to play the 3 a lot. How much more do you have left to unlock for him and like his whole scoring?
Yeah,
package?
Tyson's just one of those guys that no matter what the challenge is, he'll find a way to be great. And those guys are so unique, and sometimes it's hard to see those guys for who they are when you're out recruiting, because you're seeing the guys that jump the highest, that run the fastest, and Tyson might not always be that, but he's a guy that produces, and you never underestimate him. He just always keeps rising to whatever the occasion would be, and when you got guys like that, I mean, it's the definition of a winner, and that's what Tyson really is.
You know, with Tyson Degenhardt also kind of piggybacking off what Jay was saying there, Leon. This is the second player you've had in your time here that's kind of chasing down Tanaka Beard's record, right?
Yeah.
Anything maybe you learned or took from Drimmick's chase that maybe
No,
you'll
it's just
apply here
it's
whatsoever?
staying in the moment, and Tyson doesn't. That'll be a product of him doing his job at the highest level, and if, you know, we don't even talk about it. And it was neat to have Tanaka here, and then Tyson was able to give him, you know, that jersey that we presented to him. So that, you know, those moments are pretty cool, and we honor the past here, and you know what guys were able to do, and to have a guy, you know, there won't be a lot of guys that have a shot at this record because that thing's way out there.